Have you ever judged someone only to discover how wrong you were? Today's story might just change how you see others forever. If this touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing stories that remind us of our shared humanity. Rachel Winters prided herself on efficiency. As the newly appointed manager at Evergreen Marketing Agency, she ran her department like a well-oiled machine. Deadlines were sacred, excellence was expected, and excuses were unacceptable. At 32, she had sacrificed everything for her career, relationships, friendships, even the occasional weekend off. Her corner office with its panoramic view of downtown Seattle was testament to her dedication. When Human Resources informed her that they'd hired a new graphic designer for her team, Rachel expected someone who would match her intensity. What she got instead was Aditya Sharma. Aditya was perpetually 5 minutes late. His desk looked like a hurricane had swept through it. And worst of all, he constantly requested to leave early or work from home. In Rachel's eyes, he was everything wrong with the modern workforce: talented but undisciplined, creative but unreliable. "I need those mock-ups by 4, Rachel said one Tuesday morning, dropping a folder on Aditya's cluttered desk. He looked up from his computer, dark circles prominent under his eyes. "I'll do my best, but I have to leave at 3 today." Rachel felt her jaw tighten. "Again? This is the third time this week, Aditya." "I know. I'm sorry." He didn't offer an explanation, just returned to his work with that quiet determination she found simultaneously admirable and infuriating. The final straw came during the Hartman pitch, their biggest potential client of the year. The entire team had worked overtime for weeks, and the presentation was scheduled for Friday morning. Thursday afternoon, as everyone was putting final touches on their parts, Aditya packed up his bag at precisely 3 o'clock. Rachel intercepted him at the elevator. "Where do you think you're going? We have the biggest presentation of the year tomorrow." "I'm sorry, Rachel. I have to go." "No, you don't understand. Everyone is staying late tonight. This account could make or break our department." Aditya shifted uncomfortably. "I've finished my designs. They're in the shared folder." "That's not the point," Rachel said, her voice rising. Several colleagues glanced their way. "We're a team. Everyone stays until everything is done." "I can't." "Can't or won't." Rachel felt her frustration boiling over. "Some of us are actually committed to our careers. Some of us don't have the luxury of clocking out whenever we feel like it." The elevator doors opened, but Aditya didn't move. His face had gone pale. "You think this is about luxury?" His voice was so quiet Rachel had to lean in to hear him. "My daughter has leukemia. I leave at 3 to pick her up from her treatments. I work after she falls asleep until 2 or 3 in the morning to make up the hours. I haven't had a full night's sleep in 8 months." The silence that followed was deafening. Rachel felt the blood drain from her face as Aditya stepped into the elevator. "I'll be online tonight after 9 if anyone needs anything," he said as the doors closed between them. Rachel stood frozen, the weight of her misjudgment crushing her. Around her, colleagues averted their eyes, the awkwardness palpable. That night, Rachel couldn't sleep. She kept seeing Aditya's face, hearing his quiet words. She had been so consumed with her own ambition that she'd failed to see what was right in front of her, a father fighting battles she couldn't imagine while still delivering exceptional work. The next morning, Rachel arrived at the office earlier than usual. She placed a coffee on Aditya's desk with a note, "I'm sorry. Can we talk after the presentation?" The Hartman pitch went flawlessly. Aditya's designs received particular praise from the clients, who commented on their emotional resonance and attention to detail. When everyone returned to the office, riding the high of a successful presentation, Rachel asked Aditya to join her in her office. "I owe you an apology," she said once the door was closed. "I made assumptions about you that were unfair and unkind." Aditya nodded but remained silent. I'd like to understand more about your situation, Rachel continued. Not to pry, but to figure out how we can better support you. Adifir's composure cracked slightly. Her name is Mira. She's 6. Her mother left when she was diagnosed, couldn't handle it, I guess. The treatments are working, but it's been challenging. I can't imagine, Rachel said softly. How do you do it all? Adifir's smile was tired but genuine. One day at a time. What choice do I have? She's everything to me. Something shifted in Rachel's chest, a recognition of strength far greater than anything she'd achieved in her career. I'd like to adjust your schedule, she said. Make it official that you can leave at 3. We can redistribute some of your workload, and you don't need to work until the middle of the night. I don't want special treatment. It's not special treatment. It's human decency. Rachel hesitated. And maybe, if you're comfortable with it, I could meet Mira sometime. I used to volunteer at Children's Hospital before work took over my life. The surprise on Adifir's face gave way to cautious appreciation. She'd like that. She doesn't have many visitors. That weekend, Rachel found herself in the pediatric oncology ward, clutching a stuffed unicorn and feeling more nervous than she had before the Hartman presentation. Adifir met her in the hallway, looking different in jeans and a worn t-shirt. Fair warning, he said. She's having a good day, which means she's going to talk your ear off. Mira Sharma was tiny in her hospital bed, her bald head covered with a colorful knit beanie. But her eyes, the same deep brown as her father's, were bright and curious. Are you Daddy's boss? She asked immediately. Rachel laughed. I am. Is that okay? Mira considered this seriously. Do you make him work too hard? Mira, Adifir warned gently. Actually, Rachel said, sitting in the chair beside the bed, I think it's the other way around. Your dad works harder than anyone I know. Over the next few hours, Rachel was introduced to Mira's world, her favorite books, her collection of beanies, one for every mood, and her detailed knowledge of hospital staff. Nurse Miguel sneaked her extra pudding cups, Dr. Patel always had stickers in her pocket. When Mira fell asleep mid-sentence, Rachel and Adifir retreated to the hallway. She's amazing, Rachel said. She is. Adifir's eyes remained on his daughter through the door window. The doctors are optimistic. Her last round of tests showed improvement. That's wonderful. Rachel hesitated. Adifir, I want you to know that whatever you need, flexible hours, work from home days, time off, we'll make it work. Adifir turned to her, his expression unreadable. Why the change of heart? Rachel considered her answer carefully. I've spent my whole adult life believing that success meant sacrifice. That you couldn't have both a career and anything else. But watching you with Mira, seeing how you balance it all, it's made me question everything I thought I knew. It's not balance, Adifir admitted. Most days it feels like I'm failing at everything. You're not, Rachel said firmly. Not even close. In the weeks that followed, Rachel became a regular visitor at the hospital. She brought work for Adifir when he needed to stay with Mira during rough patches. She rearranged team meetings to accommodate his schedule. And somewhere along the way, she found herself looking forward to those hospital visits not out of obligation, but because they had become the brightest part of her week. The marketing team noticed the change in their manager. The rigid deadlines remained, but there was a new flexibility, a recognition that excellence could coexist with humanity. Productivity actually increased as team members felt more supported and understood. 3 months after their confrontation at the elevator, Mira was discharged from the hospital. Her cancer was in remission. The team decorated Adifir's desk with balloons and cards, and Rachel approved a week of paid leave so he could settle Mira back at home. On his first day back, Adifir stopped by Rachel's office. Mira wants to know if you'll come to her no more hospital party this weekend, he said. Her words, not mine. Rachel smiled. I wouldn't miss it. The party was held in Adifir's modest backyard. Mira, with more hair now than when Rachel had first met her, ran around with neighborhood children while adults chatted on the patio. Rachel felt strangely nervous as she handed Adifir a gift-wrapped package. It's nothing fancy, she said. Just something I thought she might like. Inside was a camera, sturdy, child-friendly, but with decent quality. Adifir raised an eyebrow. She mentioned wanting to take pictures like you do, Rachel explained. To remember the good stuff. Adifir's smile made her heart do something unexpected. Thank you. For this, and for everything else. As the afternoon wore on, Rachel found herself sitting on the porch steps beside Adifir, watching Mira demonstrate her new camera to her friends. You know, Adifir said quietly, when you stopped me at the elevator that day, I was so angry. I'd been juggling everything for months, barely keeping it together, and there you were, making assumptions about my commitment. Rachel winced. I was horrible. No, Adifir shook his head. You were focused on what you could see. But what you said after you knew the truth, that's who you really are. I'm not sure I know who that is anymore, Rachel admitted. I've been the career-obsessed workaholic for so long. Maybe it's time to find out. Adifir's hand moved closer to hers on the step. Mira and I are still figuring out our new normal too. Rachel looked at him, really looked at him, for perhaps the first time. Not as the unreliable employee or even as Mira's devoted father, but as Adifir. A man with kind eyes and quiet strength who had somehow changed the course of her life with a few honest words in an elevator. I'd like that, she said, and let her hand rest beside his, their fingers almost touching. 6 months later, Evergreen Marketing won Agency of the Year, with special recognition for their innovative flexible work policies that Rachel had implemented company-wide. Adifir was promoted to creative director, leading a team that valued both excellence and compassion. And Rachel, to her own surprise, found that success tasted sweeter when shared. Mira's cancer remained in remission. She started first grade, her backpack always containing her camera, ready to capture moments of joy. Her photo of Rachel and Adifir, heads bent together over a presentation, smiling at some shared joke, won first prize in her school's art show. She titled it simply, My Family. On quiet evenings, when Mira was asleep and the house was still, Rachel sometimes thought about that moment at the elevator, how close she had come to missing this life she now cherished. How Adifir's quiet words had changed everything. What are you thinking about? Adifir asked one such evening, his arm around her shoulders as they sat on the porch swing. Rachel leaned into him, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. I'm thinking about how sometimes the things we think we want aren't what we need at all. Adifir pressed a kiss to her temple. And what do you need? Rachel looked through the window where Mira's night light cast star patterns on the ceiling of her bedroom. She thought of the office she now shared with Adifir at Evergreen, where they had proven that compassion and success could coexist. She thought of the journey that had brought them here, from judgment to understanding, from isolation to connection. This, she said simply. Just this. Sometimes life's most profound lessons come from the people we least expect to teach us. If this story touched your heart, please remember to like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the power of compassion and understanding. Share this video with someone who might need a reminder that we never truly know what battles others are fighting, and that a little kindness can change everything.